tech guy. I just want to make sure everything's working before I officially start. Sometimes I've run and then my mic doesn't work or my screen doesn't come through. I just want to make sure everything's working. Okay. Tina says she can't hear anything. Can everyone else hear me? That you can hear me? Okay, Tina, you might have to just check your own your end over there. And then just make sure this is recording for those who cannot make it. Well, welcome to today's class. We are doing a Chinese medicine workshop. So I'm going to be covering the fundamentals of Chinese medicine. To maximize your results, I highly suggest turning your phones off, putting them on do not disturb mode, taking notes as we go, although there will be parts where I say, don't take any notes, we don't need it for this part. And before we get started, just taking in a few deep breaths, trying to let go of whatever you were doing beforehand. Breathing down into the abdomen through the nose, just allowing yourself to be present today. So the major purposes of this presentation to help you out through physical and emotional pain. So Chinese medicine is quite useful for both of these things. You're going to understand Chinese medicine perspective. We're going to compare it to Western medicine perspective and see that it's actually a very scientific approach to healing rather than an intuition based like, ooh, I feel your chakras are out of line. It's like, no, it's very procedural, step by step. And then I'll provide you with some meditations and acupoints to use. Today's going to be more focused towards the emotional side. Tomorrow, we're going to do another one, same time. It's going to be pretty much all practical. We're just going to do Qigong movements, easy exercises that pretty much anyone can do. And then at the end of this presentation, I want to give you a little gift. Just to note, I'm not really selling anything at the end of this. I'm offering retreats. So if you can come to a retreat live with me, amazing. Otherwise, this is just to give as much value as I can towards you. So what can Chinese medicine do for you? Just want to get started with Qigong master here, Lu Ziqian, at 118 years old, still rocking it, still moving his body. Unfortunately, he did die somewhat recently within the last 5-10 years. But if you're 40, 50, 60, and wondering if you can move pain-free when you're 70, 80, 90, or 100 plus, it is totally possible. This is achievable through natural means. I'm not here to sell any products or supplements. I want to empower you to be able to do these kind of things for yourself. So what I like to consider is potty training. So raise your hand if you were potty trained as a child. I'm hoping most of you were potty trained as a child. When we're children, we're taught that, okay, you take in physical food, physical matter, and then you need a safe way to release it that doesn't harm you or someone else. So someone took you to the toilet and explained, when you have grumbly feelings, you go to the toilet, you release, you wipe up, and then you're good to go. What tends to happen is that in the emotional, mental, and spiritual space, we don't have those tools taught to us by our parents or by society. And so we tend to suffer consequences, as we'll see through Chinese medicine, how this works. So for myself, my potty training started when I went to China. At the end of 2016, I graduated university with a kinesiology degree. I was very focused on the physical aspect of training and also have terrible internet right now, so please bear with me if some of these things load a little slowly. So I went to China and I lived there for 9 months in a mountain, training Kung Fu, Qigong, shaving my head, basically living a very simple life, but a very grueling life of training 8 hours a day. While I was there, I developed severe irritable bowel syndrome. So basically my digestion was completely destroyed. I was always bloated, gassy. I was either constipated or just having diarrhea all the time. It's like I had been eating glass shards and they were moving through my body. It was a terrible time. Then when I came back to Toronto, moved to Canada, I went to the doctor. There was blood in my stool. I had colonoscopy, full examination. They couldn't find anything physical, but I knew I was suffering. And my doctor's like, well, we can't really fix this, but I can give you some medication to essentially numb the symptoms that are arising from this. I decided not to do that. I joined Chinese medicine school and found a different way to heal my chronic illness. And I was relatively young at this point, still relatively young, but the longer you let these things go through, and as we'll see, emotions have a huge impact on the mental state and the physical state of your body, the worse things get. So this is kind of my healing journey. Once I learned to start using what I'm teaching you and apply it, my digestion cleared up and I feel way, way, way better than I did back then. So real quick, what is Chinese medicine? Well, it's a 2,000+ year old practice, probably even older. It seeks to balance you with nature and is preventative in its practice. It's scientific, not intuition-based, which we'll get into, and it aims to restore the flow of qi in the body. So unlike Western medicine, which is great with acute problems, right? Car crash, your bones break, you have a heart attack. I had a scooter accident 2 months ago. Thankfully, there was a nice hospital where they took care of me. Everything was sterile. Really good with physical. So it's reductionistic, it's symptom-focused, but it's not the best with chronic disease. Eastern medicine, Chinese medicine is very preventative in nature, working with chronic diseases that impact the mental, emotional, and spiritual state along with the physical. So we want lifestyle changes, not just pills, to empower ourselves to heal. Now, in nature, if we take this plant and we look at it from a Western reductionist standpoint, we might use some scissors, we might put some fertilizer, we might spray the plant with something to help heal it from the outside. When I look at this plant, I look at a plant that's indoors, probably doesn't have enough sun or water. So I want to take the plant and put it back in nature where it belongs so that it can get sun, water, and heal from within without me having to heal the plant. That is the essence of Chinese medicine versus Western medicine philosophy. Now, how does this happen in the body? Through energy channels. So Chinese medicine tracks and maps different energy channels across the body with different acupoints on those channels. These work as rivers or almost like a highway in the body that transports resources and removes waste. When these become plugged, as we'll see right now, issues start to arise. So number one principle in Chinese medicine is if there is free flow, there is no pain. If there is no free flow, there is pain. So in these rivers of qi through the body, if there's stagnations, blockages, certain pains or symptoms will arise, and we want to help identify, diagnose, and then treat those problems. So the cause of pain and disease is stagnation. If you leave this workshop and learn only one thing, it's that stagnation causes disease. In nature, when bodies of water don't move, they start to fester, swamp forms, a lot of bacteria, things start to die and decay in this environment. When the river is running clean, when water is moving smoothly, nature is moving and stagnation is cleared, we have a healthy system. Now, this next slide I'm going to show you, if you don't want to see the inside of a human body in a tasteful way, there's no like blood or gore. There is also menstrual blood here. So I want to just show you, like, it's one thing to talk about the energetics being stagnant, chi's not moving, but what does it look like in the real world? So if you don't want to see that, just look away for a second. So for females and tampons, pads, cups, you might see blood clots happening. So there is a normal level of blood clots that can occur, but as we get bigger and bigger, issues start to arise. So likewise, if you have a stroke or a heart attack, it's blood clots in your blood vessels breaking off and then going where they don't belong, blocking this flow of oxygen and waste removal. Now, another way we can see stagnations is here in the organ systems. We have these fascial adhesions starting to form where they're not meant to. If we just sit and don't move and don't rotate our body, it starts to basically glue itself together, almost like a rusty car engine that doesn't have enough oil and it isn't run often enough. So our lifestyle tends to put us in those situations where these types of stagnations start to build up. So it's really important to consider the fascia. So fascia is basically this connective tissue that holds all the structures of the body together. It's this white stuff right here between all the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, the bones. And if that fascia is tight, bound up, stagnant, not moving, it can pinch arteries, it can pinch veins, it can pinch nerves, which leads to pain. A decrease in blood flow means less nutrition going to the muscles, the joints, the brain, the heart, and slowly suffering and cutting off that organ from its supply of nutrients and waste removal. So if we're experiencing pain in the body, this stagnation is at the root of it. Another way to think about this is if you've been to the gym and you've done some bicep curls, you've consumed the oxygen and the nutrients in the biceps, and then lactic acid builds up. If I just keep doing bicep curls, that tissue is going to start to be eaten away by the lactic acid. Same thing happens in a very similar way when we're in bad posture. It doesn't allow the flow of blood to move well, or lymphatics, or synovial fluid, or cerebral spinal fluid. So essentially what's happening in this bicep curl is happening to a lesser degree when we're not moving and just holding ourselves in position. Now, I really like this image of a cute dog, but this cute dog is stuck in a cage. Our minds understand that dogs need to go out for a walk. Most breeds of dogs like to go outside. They like to be walked multiple times a day. If I stick a dog in a cage and then just feed it Gatorade, McDonald's, let it live at its own shit, don't let it sleep properly, that dog is going to go crazy. It's going to have emotional problems, mental problems, physical problems. And we all understand, yeah, well, you're keeping a dog in a cage. It's the same thing happening to your human body, right? Our minds were able to do certain things that allow us to stay in that cage, stay entertained, but the body is building up and being destroyed from this process. So we need to learn how to walk our human, take our body outside, put it in the right environment, just like that plant. Right, a plant outside with some sun in nature and water heals itself. Humans outside in the sun with some nature, water, movement, breathing heals itself rather than having to rely on something else. So we're going to be doing a little Qigong practice. We're all going to come together on this. So I can get you to just stand up. If you have difficulties, I'm just going to give actually two options here. So if you have difficulties standing or you have joint pain, you can do this first option. And that's basically going to be just squeezing your muscles and then releasing. Squeeze the muscles and then release. So if you can't get up, if you feel uncomfortable shaking, if something's hurting, don't push yourself to do this movement. So this helps to clear the stagnation in the body. It starts to help calm the body as well and the mind. Just gonna have the feet facing forwards underneath the hips. And I want to start with a gentle bouncing in my knees. So the knees gently bouncing, not shooting forwards, just up and down lightly. And then allow that bounce to build up into the shoulders and to come through the arms. If this is painful, you just do the squeezing and releasing, squeezing and releasing. We don't want to cause pain with this movement. Otherwise, if you can get up, this is essentially taking whatever swamps are starting to form in the body and allowing the chi and the blood to move through and clear those stagnations. So we want to let the arms, the torso, the legs move as they will. Of course, if you have any sort of pain, don't push into it. This should be very gentle, relaxing. Taking a few deep breaths as we do this, coming into the body. One way I like to do this as well, obviously if we can go outside in nature with the sun, you can just put on your favorite song. Okay, let's say you're working at the desk, you're gonna go for a little break. Just put on a little song and dance around, shake around, help to move that blood, lymph, cerebral spinal fluid. This is helping to nourish the brain, the joints, all the tissues. It's helping to unbind fascial adhesions. So that's just one little practice you can take out of this. We'll come back together. Again, if it's too painful, just squeeze and release, squeeze and release. It's a nice pumping effect for the body. So you might have seen the word Qigong before. So we just did a brief little simple Qigong practice or exercise. But Qigong, we want to break it down into two words. The word Qi, that means life force, energy, prana. And actually in Chinese medicine, when you break it down, there's many different types of Qi. And Gong is a skill, essentially. Gong is a skill or a cultivation or practice or quality. So when we put the two together, qi gong, it's like qi skill or qi quality or qi cultivation. So it's exercises to help cultivate the qi. And there's many different types of qigong. The type I'm showing you today is considered medical qigong, but there's Taoist, Buddhist, martial, Chinese People Party, all with different aims and purposes. So it's almost like the word sport. It's a very broad category of energy work, and there's different sports or different types of energy work that people can do. So we're focusing on medical, which works with the channels in the organ system to help clear out blockages. So we want to clear stagnation in the channels, promote organ health, move sticky blood, release adhesions in the fascia, and can be used to release stored emotions. So we're going to do more Qigong tomorrow. Today, at the end, we'll focus a bit more on acupoints and a meditation you can do for the emotions. Now we're going to get into Chinese medicine theory here. So I want you to just understand this at a basic level. Don't worry about taking notes on everything. As we go through this, it's going to just be too much. I just want you to see scientifically how we get to the solutions and problems and the viewing of energetics in Chinese medicine. So it all starts with yin and yang, the 5 laws of yin and yang. So we've all seen this image most likely. So this white part is yang, this black part is yin. They are considered interdependent. Okay, one cannot exist without the other. Oppositional, they're opposite to each other. So black and white in this case, day and night, man and woman, hot, cold. Chinese medicine starts to make these dualities. Okay, we live in a world of dualities, of opposites. Things are interdependent. They're consuming each other as the day comes up and then goes down. Night starts to consume day, then day consumes night. They're intertransformational. Yin, on whatever time spectrum we look at, could be seconds, minutes, hours, decades, hundreds of years, thousands of years, it's transforming. Yang will transform eventually into yin, and yin will eventually transform into yang. And it's infinitely divisible. We can keep dividing. So just a few examples here. I won't really go over this because it's not that relative, but we have yin and yang, and understand that this is yin and yang relative to the society of Chinese people and Chinese medicine when it was built. Other systems can have different yin and yang representations. So water, fire, dark, light, moon, sun, night, day, matter, energy. We go down lists of thousands of these different things of dualities where they're opposites and all these laws are respected. But for a practical use, I want to keep this as practical as possible. Yin, when I say the word yin, I mean wet, cold, heavy, restful, nourishing. You could also put water in here. Yang is dry, it's hot, it's light. Okay, it's not heavy, it's active. We're spending and we're using. Okay, so yin is kind of like a fuel, it's a substance, it's very palpable. Yang, it's not, it's hot, it's fire, you can't really grasp it. And it's always relative. So a campfire, fire is hot, it's dry, it's light, it's active, we're using the fuel, is relatively yin compared to a mountain with a volcano on it. This is more yang, now this is yin. It's all relative. The sun, most yang, and now this volcano is yin relative to this sun. So it always has to be relativity. The goal in Chinese medicine, in Western medicine, we want to reach this word called homeostasis, which is a balance of all the systems. Nervous systems, circadian systems, circulatory systems. In Chinese medicine, we're looking for not too hot, not too cold, not too dry, not too wet, not too active or passive, not too heavy or dry or light. And we're trying to reach this equilibrium of yin and yang where they're both at the same heights. Disease fundamentally arises in Chinese medicine when there's too much yang in the system, too much yin in the system, not enough yang in the system, or not enough yin in the system. So 4 major types. There is more. Also, if you're a Chinese medicine practitioner, acupuncturist watching this, obviously I'm simplifying some things and removing some concepts that make things more complicated. But in a nutshell, we're trying to reach this equilibrium state, which frankly we never do. We have our innate genetics and what we're born with. We have the environment we live in. We're always fighting to get to this balance, but it's never really quite there. Once we hit this too much or too little, issues start to arise. So first step of using Chinese medicine, this is my steps. You wouldn't find this necessarily in a Chinese medicine book. So the first steps is to identify these yin and yang imbalances. So if you have a piece of paper, you might want to see, okay, am I yin deficient, yang deficient, yin excess, or yin deficient? So if you're if you're yin deficient, that's going to appear similar to yang symptoms, right? Because yang is high relative to yin, but it's not necessarily excessive. So because we don't have much of the cold and the wet, we're going to have redness, heat, often worse in the evenings, hot flashes. That's that yang escaping. Yang is dry. So we're going to get hair, skin, nails, lips, and eyes that become dry. We're going to be anxious or easily agitated because the yang rises up. This fire, this heat comes into our brains and just scatters us. You're going to be thirsty, again, because you're dry. You're going to have dark, scanty urine because you're dry. And you're going to get night sweats. I hope you can see how we're starting to become scientific about this to figure out which category you're in. Now, don't worry as we go through these. Chances are you're going to be in multiple categories and it's going to be like a big web. I'm going to give you something at the end to help start unwinding that web. Yin excess, yin is cold, so we're going to be cold to the bone. Yin is heavy, so we're going to feel heavy. Pale complexion, the yang can't rise to guide the qi with it to bring blood. Qi guides blood. We'll get into it in 1 second with qi. But if we don't have enough yang to raise the blood, we're going to be pale in the face. We're going to lack appetite and lack thirst because we're heavy, we're full, we're watered. Our body already has enough substance. It doesn't want to take in more, which means we're also going to have more urine and it's going to be clear. So dark urine, we're deficient in yin. Lots of urine, we're typically more excess in yin. Then we have the yang imbalances. And again, you don't have to write all these down. You can take screenshots or whatever. This is pretty available information. Yang deficiency. Okay, so yang is heat. And when we're deficient in heat, we're going to be cold. Yang is also active. It's spending. When we're not spending and active, we lack motivation. We lack energy. We lack thirst because we have lots of water. We have lots of yin in us. We're heavy. That pale face again, yang's not rising, loose stools. Yang or energy is really important for digestive purposes. And again, clear, copious urine. I won't go over the yang excess, but I think you understand at this point, you should be seeing yourself in ideally one of these 4 categories or 2 of them, like yin deficiency or yang excess, or yang deficiency and yin excess. Generally speaking, women tend to be more on the colder side, men tend to be more on the hotter side. As we all age, we tend to all become more deficient and cold, but everyone's a bit different. Step 2, we're going to look at qi and blood. So qi is represented as yang. It's very light. You can't really see it. You can't really hold it. Blood is considered substantive. It's actual fluid. It's there. So it's yin. Qi in Chinese medicine is built with breath. We breathe about 25,000 times per day, and food. So breathing is a practice that I want to help instill in you. So we're just going to take 1 or 2 minutes here. On your own, you can just breathe in through the nose. Close your eyes for a second. And I want a gentle inhale. Some people have difficulty breathing in deeply. They get panic attacks sometimes. So I just want a gentle inhale and your mind placed inside the torso as you're expanding. And exhaling. The exhale is just a gentle release, no force or effort. The inhale has a gentle force. The mind is inside the body. When we breathe like this, we help to oxygenate the blood, the brain. We increase our energy. We help to pump the organs. We help to clear stagnation through the body. So coming back, we have 6 functions of qi. Again, you don't have to remember this. You don't have to write this. Just to understand how the logic is that I'm going to give you the practices as the end. Get to. So 6 functions of qi are warming, protecting, lifting, transforming, transporting, and holding. When these functions go awry, we get 4 pathologies or diseases or problems that arise with qi. Stagnation, so qi is not flowing. Deficiency, there's not enough qi. Qi is sinking, and qi is rebelling or moving in the wrong direction. So I'll give you a quick example of qi deficiency symptoms, which many people have. So the more of these you have, the more likely we can say you have qi deficiency pattern. So if you have fatigue, loose stools, poor appetite, slight breathlessness, lack motivation, enthusiasm, a weak voice, pale complexion, and slight sweating, if you have all 8 of these, like, bam, we need to work on your ability to build qi because you're deficient, right? If you had other symptoms, we wouldn't necessarily focus on that. Now, quickly, we're going to look at the functions of blood. It's to nourish the body, moisten the body, houses the mind. It's the counterpart to the yang. It circulates with the nutritive chi, so it just basically helps to nourish your body. And of course, it's important for menstruation. So 3 pathologies for blood would be stasis, the blood is not flowing. There's heat in the blood, and there's a deficiency of blood. Now, quickly, blood stasis signs and symptoms: fixed stabbing pain, dark face, purple nails, purple lips, right? You can tell the blood's not flowing there. You can also put spider veins if you have spider veins in there. Abdominal masses, so if you have palpable masses on your body that don't move, and painful periods with dark blood and clot are indicators that your blood is not flowing well. Step 3 in Chinese medicine, we would add yin and yang theory, qi and blood theory, with organ theory. So this is kind of like the final step before we start to work on the solution. So we look at a simplified version of what the spleen does. Spleen is just important for digestion. It transforms and transports your food. Controls ascending of qi, it lifts things up like blood to the face with the qi. Controls the blood, it keeps it in the vessels. Controls the muscles and 4 limbs. And is known as the root of post-heaven qi. So we want to look for patterns of pathology. Multiple symptoms coming together related to yin and yang, qi and blood, and the organs' functions. In Western medicine, we just look for one disease. In TCM, we look for patterns. So in Chinese medicine, or TCM, we would say one disease has many different patterns. So someone can have diabetes or liver failure or many different things, but they're coming from a different source. So we don't want to treat people the same when they come in with a disease. We want to get to the root cause of the disease. And many patterns, many different organs, patterns, qis, blood deficiencies can still lead to a single disease. So we want to be really precise and figure that out. So what this looks like practically is spleen qi deficiency pattern, which is a very common one. We get unhealthy pale complexion, fatigue, weak appetite, stomach distension, bloating, bruising easily, emaciation, low energy, motivation, weakness in the muscles, and loose stools. If we identify you as having all 9 of these, very good chance that using spleen 3, spleen 6, stomach 36, Ren 12, and bladder 20 acupoints, for example, or qigong that moves the spleen, will be beneficial to unclog that swamp area through the channel. Now, it's also important that when I say spleen, I don't mean that specific organ in Western medicine in one location of the body. When I say spleen or liver, I'm referring to all of these functions, plus the channel that moves through the body that's associated to this. So it's a whole system rather than just one tiny part. Quick technical breakdown. This is like really, you don't need to know this, but pale because qi and spleen ascend, that function is not working. Fatigue, qi and spleen are responsible for transportation and transformation, digestion. So if you're unable to digest and bring in energy, you're going to feel fatigue. Again, if your ability to transform and transport energy is not working, your body's not going to want to eat. So you'll have a weak appetite. You're going to get stomach bloating. I hope you see how this makes sense. You're going to bruise easily because one of the functions of qi is to hold, and the spleen's function is to control the blood and keep it in its blood vessels. So spleen, qi is not holding blood in its vessels. We get the symptom of bruising easily. So we want to put as many symptoms as you can into categories and to see which category or which pattern you have the most of, and then work towards that. So it's not based on intuition. We're building a hypothesis. We test it, we apply, and then we reevaluate. Realistically, you're going to have many different patterns happening at the same time, and you want to start unwinding all of them. Chinese medicine, herbs, acupoints, lifestyle. We want to empower you to heal your own self. So the causes of disease. Stagnation is the cause of disease. If you leave here and do nothing but shaking or squeezing, focus on a little breathing, you're clearing stagnation. You're starting to help the physical, mental, and emotional bodies to recover. So physically, tight, thick and sticky blood. You can see that stagnation. You can see tight fascia, sore and stiff joints. That's the stagnation arising in the body. When a baby is born, it's very healthy. It's generally very plump. It's pliable. It's like a squishy little water puddle. As we get older, we tend to dry out. We get brittle. The skin wrinkles. We shrink. We're not moist anymore. We want to be moist. Okay, we want rivers running through us, not bacteria building up. Emotionally, we can have blockages in the energy channels, stuck emotions and traumas from past experiences. And this makes us reactive, makes us tight, bundled up, and kind of not behave well sometimes. Mentally, it can lead to a clouded mind, forgetfulness, lacking concentration. So if you see these in yourselves, we want to start to work through those out. Three main causes of disease in Chinese medicine are the environment, which is external, emotions, which are internal, and then habits, which are considered miscellaneous. So I won't focus too much on environment or habits. We're going to be looking at emotions. But wind attacks the liver, heat attacks the heart, cold, kidneys, dryness, dampness. We're looking to essentially, with the external environments, balance out our yin and yang excesses and deficiencies. If you're already someone with yang excess, a lot of heat, you need to be careful protecting your heart, right? Heat stroke, the circulatory system can't maintain this heat and the heart craps out. In Chinese medicine, we really don't want the kidneys or the low back to be cold. So the way you can practically think of this is if you're a yang person, right? We don't want to, in the summer, be exposing ourselves to more heat. We're adding yang to our yang excess. If you're yin and it's winter, we want to stay warm. We don't want to be excess yin and then it's winter, we're even more yin. This is pushing us into imbalance, okay? So we want to use our outside climatic factors or environments to help balance us out. One last example, right now I'm in Bali, and Bali is considered damp, or Mexico, or anywhere like Thailand. People tend to have a lot of digestive issues, especially if you're a foreigner coming down here, because that dampness bogs down the spleen. The spleen wants to be dry to function well. So if your spleen's not working, your digestive system's not working, you might notice like your legs are starting to get edema, they're holding fluid and water, your digestion is poor. This could be an example where you might need quote unquote dryness to start happening. I'll quickly look at the habits and miscellaneous before we dive into the emotions. So poor nutrition, bad habit, traumatic injury, someone hits you. It's not necessarily associated to the external environment or emotions. It's just bad luck, something hit you. Exhaustion, if you've been exhausting yourself for a while. Fungus and parasites. If you're doing Qigong and acupoints and you have a fungus and parasite infection, even taking Western medicine, it's like you need to kill the invaders that are causing you harm, which wouldn't relate necessarily to your environments or emotion. Improper treatment. Really shocking fact, feel free to Google this, but there's a type of death called iatrogenic death, which means medical system induced death. And it's the third leading cause of death in America. So you go to the hospital, you get your medications, you get your surgeries. Basically, this process of the Western medical system leads to the third leading cause of death in America, which is just kind of wild. Excessive sexual activity, it's very draining on the body. And then, of course, your genetics kind of born into it. It's not something that's in your control. Now, emotions, this is the interesting part. This is what led to me healing my digestive issues. So whatever chronic illness you're dealing with, we want to get to the root of it through emotions. So anger is said to strike the liver. And again, liver doesn't mean this fatty or not fatty, but this piece of tissue organ in one specific spot. It's a whole system. Mania damages the heart, so too much excitement. Grief attacks the lungs. Fear injures the kidneys, and overthinking is correlated to the spleen. Now, the pain teacher is very important, and the more we can listen to pain in our lives, the faster we will heal. If I put my hand on a hot stove, thankfully I experience pain, so I learn my lesson and don't do it again. Now, oftentimes, emotional, mental, and spiritual pain causes us to numb. This is the solution that a lot of people use. And it's kind of like if I was to take medication to kill the pain and then stick my hand on that fire. Yeah, I don't feel the heat from that fire, but I am in pain and my body is suffering from it. So in order to start healing, I have to allow myself to start feeling those emotions that are buried inside in a way that is cleansing. So coming back to the potty training idea from the beginning, we want to have a safe way to release emotions and pain without going into numbing or destructive behaviors. So oftentimes this is a meditation practice, a Qigong practice, a breathing practice. I'll share a little bit at the end when we do our total practice as to how I use this to heal myself. Now there's this idea of bad emotions. In Chinese medicine, there's no bad emotions, okay? Anger is useful, fear is useful. If I feel the sense of fear and I'm at the edge of a cliff, I could fall. Well, thankfully I'm experiencing fear and I'm going to back away from this cliff. There's possibly a lion over there. I'm experiencing fear. I'm going to back away from that situation. We need these emotions. They're good for us. But when they're prolonged, we ruminate with anxiety, with fear, with worry, even with joy. We think about past relationships, partners, experiences that were so amazing, but now we're not experiencing them. We're prolonging emotion. We want to bring our mind into the same location as the body, because there's this general numbing that we tend to do. The brain or the mind leaves the present moment with the body to not experience it. And it goes into stories of future and past. The secret to healing, to clearing stagnation, is to have the mind calmly sit with whatever is coming through and be equanimous or non-reactive to it. The more we can pay attention to the sensations from the body without feeding into them or pushing them away, that is the healing process. That is what healed my gut and many other things. Excessive emotions, if something massively trauma happens in one moment, that is also, let's say, a bad emotion, but it's more, emotions are bad if they're prolonged, we keep ruminating in them, or something major that causes PTSD right in this moment. Oh my God, someone just shot my dog. That's a lot to handle. This traps our emotions and traumas. So trauma, coming back to me here, physically, I have trauma in all these parts of my body, and I need proper etiquette or healing or tools. And if I'm picking at the scabs and moving around, but I'm taking, let's say, a painkiller, and I don't feel the pain of my skin and my bones and my joints, I'm now able to engage in destructive habits and actions that are counterproductive to healing this physical trauma. Emotionally, we have the same thing. We get heartbreaks, someone insults us, we lose loved ones. It's like an arrow is shot into our heart and goes and sticks into certain channels, certain organs, and gets buried there deeper. If we don't have this nice way to bandage and encourage healing, we're just masking what is going on and allowing ourselves to engage in bad behavior that is pushing that trauma deeper into the body. So I want you to consider that we have a limited capacity for physical, mental, emotional trauma. My body has a limited capacity for hitting the road with a bike landing on top of me, okay? I have a limited capacity to absorb physical damage in the moment before it becomes absorbed as a bruise, as broken blood vessels, as broken bones. I can fight someone who's 100 pounds smaller than me, and I can take that trauma any day. It's probably not going to harm me. Someone who's 100 pounds bigger than me fights me. I don't have that capacity, but I could train boxing. I could put on more weight, more size, so that I'm building my capacity for physical trauma. So just like I can build physical trauma capacity, I can also build emotional and mental trauma capacity. And as I do that, it actually unwinds and pulls out whatever was in there and basically starts to heal you. So short-term tools for numbing, this is just a list. It's not exhaustive. Drugs, alcohol, work, exercising. Some people are addicted to exercise and they use it as a way to numb themselves. We want better long-term solutions. Qigong, acupoints, movement, meditations, walking, breathwork, nutrition, sleep. Sleep plays such a huge role in your emotions. If you're unable to regulate sleep at the heart of it, your insulin levels will not be normal, your emotional levels will not be normal, your cortisol levels will not be normal. How can we have normal, quote unquote, normal baseline stress-free emotions if we're not taking care of these fundamental things? Now, this is one of those things right here that clicked in my mind because I come from a very Western background. I trained martial arts, judo. I have a black belt in that. It's very tough mentality of don't cry, don't show emotions. If something wants to cry, it's weird, don't do it. So I just want you to understand, if you're in that situation, you know someone, this is what clicked in my brain to help release that. So there's 4 ways to experience emotions: reaction to the present moment. Someone comes up and hits you, insults you, gives you flowers. It instills an emotion directly in that moment. There's attunement. So someone else's emotions are impacting yours. You walk into a funeral, you're probably going to feel more sad. You go to a wedding, you're probably going to feel more happy. Then there's self-generated. So we're thinking, nothing is happening to us. There's no one around us. We're just thinking about the future or the past. And this is generating an emotional experience. And then somatic release. Somatic release basically means, coming back to the potty training analogy, physically, I feel, oh, there's a pressure in my stomach. It's 6 a.m. Yeah, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to have a release from my body. Somatic release happens when we do breath work, yoga, qigong, meditation, movement practices, acupuncture. It can also just happen randomly. You're just standing in your kitchen and you all of a sudden you get overwhelmed with feelings of sadness, of joy, of grief, of fear. And this is your body trying to essentially say, hey, I need to have a release. Just like when you go to the bathroom and have a physical release, this is an emotional release coming through. This could be from 5, 10, 20, 30 years ago. Your body's finally bringing it up to the surface to be released. And in order to release it, all you have to do, and it's all you have to do, it's a skill, is just observe it, feel it to its fullest, to your fullest capacity, and then be equanimous or non-reactive to it. It gets stuck and trapped inside of you when you evaluate it, when you question it, when you judge it, when you feel shame, when you don't want to experience it, you put it back in, and that energy becomes denser and denser and denser, and eventually becomes a physical disease. Perhaps you've had experiences of coming out of classes or treatments and you feel very light. You've been released. You've gone to the bathroom and you feel lighter. This is that type of energy we're trying to access. The opposite of that is stuffing it down, numbing with short-term tools, rather than facing what is inside and what is trapped. So we're almost into our practice now. Just real quick, medical qigong, which we're going to do tomorrow. It's more movement-based, helps to pump the body, helps to clear stagnations, regulates our emotions. Acupoints, which we're going to do in a second, helps to move the qi and blood, targets specific channels. Also medical qigong targets specific channels, but acupoints are quite easy to use. You don't really have to get up, you just need to press on the point. So we're going to do an acupoint meditation. And at this point, I'm going to ask you to look at these 5 elements. So fire, earth, metal, water, wood. I've really simplified this so that you understand when we went to the spleen, the qi, the yin, the yang. I've simplified that to here, to 5 options for you. Option number 1, if you have a lot of anxiety and difficulty sleeping, this is going to be the acupoint for you to use. Okay, it's called pericardium 6. I share it very often, and it's about 3 fingers below the wrist crease between these 2 tendons. My internet's a little bit slow. Maybe this will play. Oh, yeah, there we go. 3 fingers between the tendons. Turn off the sound. Okay, it's going to help with sleep. So if you're trying to go to sleep, sleep issues, we're going to press on that one. If you have digestive issues, you tend to worry, you're very low energy. Chances are you're going to be many mixtures of these, but whichever one is coming to top of mind for you, please use it. Spleen 6, don't use if you're pregnant. Okay, this is just a warning. It's 4 fingers above the inner ankle bone. So just one more time, 4 fingers above the inner ankle bone. Something you can use. I know some people have arthritis or difficulty pressing with their fingers. If you have a remote control or a ball or a stick, you can also just press on that point with that object. Because, right, obviously, if you're pressing with your fingers and you have arthritis, it's not so beneficial because you're going to be giving yourself pain. But if you can use another object, if I was to place this on a table, I could also push in this way. For spleen 6 and for other points on the feet, you can, so I took this picture here, I'm wedging my left knee, I'm just leaning it against a wall or an object, and I'm using my heel to press in. So whether it's spleen 6 or kidney 3, I think this picture is more kidney 3, you can use your foot or other objects to help or assist you in pressing these points. Then we have metal, which is associated to immunity. So if you have any breathing issues, immunity issues, or grieving issues, this would be the main point for you to use. It's easily located on the wrist, right here where the base of the thumb is. So again, you can use a finger, gentle pressure. And as I'm going through these, it's a good idea to actually press on these. Because what I'm not saying here is, right now we're trying to use an intellectual approach to seeing which one of these is wrong. Okay, I have these symptoms, so therefore I'll use this point. But as we press these points, if one of them or 2 of them or 3 of them is just excessively sore or tender, you want to focus on that. That's a sign that there's stagnation through that area. So you want to focus on it. So if you're not sure exactly which point to use either, you can go based on touch and feel. Kidney 3, this is great for low back, fear, ringing in the ears, urination issues. As we get older, if you're over 40, this is just a good idea to use in general as well. Someone's asking if we press both sides. You can test out both sides, and if one is more tender, you can focus on that side. Otherwise, I usually just do one side, whichever side I feel called to, whichever side is more tender. It's more of a time issue, and in this case, it's a logistics issue. It's kind of hard to press both at the same time unless you're on your feet, and then it just becomes a comfort issue. So just pick one side. Someone's asking, is it the bottom of the ankle bone or top? So for this one, it's the middle of the ankle bone. And then we come back here. We're not sticking any needles in, so you don't need to be super precise. If you find a tender point and it's a little bit off from where I'm showing you, just focus on that tender point. If it's a little bit up or down, not a big deal. And then last one, we have wood, which is stress, depression, headaches, PMS, anger, joint pain, weak vision, brittle nails, whole slew. If you're not sure what to do, stress is always a great one to hit. So that's liver 3. It's located right about here. So on this one too, you can just press up and down this channel area, see which one feels the most tender for you, left side, right side. You can use your hand. Obviously, you don't want to pick up your foot like this, but you can use a thumb to press in. Or again, you can use, as I showed here, your heel. Or if you have a stick, some object that you can gently rest above it. It doesn't need to be like a heavy pressure or a hard push. We just need a little bit of contact pressing through that area. Now, I hope you have one that you've decided to go with. I'll leave this up here so you can see which one's which. These are our 5 acupoints, right? Kidney 3, pericardium 6, liver 3, spleen 6, lung 9. So based on if you want sleep, more digestion, immunity, breathing, low back, tinnitus, urination issues, you're cold, or more stress, depression, joint pain, PMS, we're going to go with those. So I'll leave the screen up for you so you can decide for yourself. And you're just going to find a comfortable position. If you could do it seated, lying, whatever is comfortable for you to access that specific point, and just hold it for a few minutes without moving too much. So from here, hopefully you've got your acupoint, so you're able to put a little stimulation through it. We're just holding it down. If you do also have trouble, like let's say you really want to do liver 3 and you can't touch it or it's very uncomfortable, you can just gently rest your mind on that area of the body. So let's say liver 3, I just put my mind to that area, just notice whatever sensations are there, and maintain a gentle concentration. So from here, we're going to have a tall upright posture, close the eyes. Taking a few deep breaths through the nose. You can have the tongue gently on the roof of your mouth. We don't want to be slouched here. We're doing energy work. We want the energy to have a smooth flowing pathway. So being upright is very useful. You really want to maintain presence to that specific acupoint you've chosen. Trying to allow the mind to sink into the body and make its way to that point. Now it's really important to bring in a quality of acceptance or tolerance or equanimity with whatever issue you chose to deal with, whether it's digestion, stress. Calm the voice down in your head that gets angry about you having that issue. And just gently ask your body, hey, how can I support you? What do we need? And then just listen without the mind intervening. Oftentimes the mind gets carried away, makes assumptions, makes judgments. And it stops the body from feeling comfortable to express or to release. So allow this acupoint to be a gentle invitation for your body to release and let go of whatever it's holding on to without the mind catching on to it and judging it. Something that can be useful here is just a gentle smile on the face. And then as you exhale, you can imagine a releasing sigh like, ah. You can verbalize it or just keep it mental, it's up to you. So that as you exhale, it's like a gentle wave coming down through the body, releasing tensions, blockages. Keep the eyes closed, the mind relaxed, and just release the acupoint. And just sit in a nice, comfortable, upright position. No intention, just gentle awareness of the body. You can open your eyes, come back. Feel free to write any notes or observations that came through on that. The practice is, let's say, quote unquote, simple. Like an acupoint, you breathe calmly, relax through the nose, gentle mental awareness on that acupoint. The skill of it, the gong of it, is not letting your mind get in the way of what is happening. Even the act of like, okay, I'm trying to treat insomnia with this point. There's an intention and a judgment and a guilt. I don't sleep well, therefore I should fix this. Use the intellectual mind to set a gentle intention, focusing on the area you need most. And then as you're doing it, you want to just release, accept whatever's coming through, whatever your body wants to release or say. You're able to ask simple questions. What do you need? How can I help? And then let the mind go. So what happened for me when I was doing this for my digestion is my mind, I'm so smart, I'm so intellectual. I know the best diet and the best sleep routine and the best exercise and the best protocols. Mentally, like, yeah, should work, but it wasn't yielding real results. Okay, it was helpful, but it wasn't getting to the root cause, which was an emotional issue. And I didn't accept or know that I had emotions and that they're trapped inside my stomach and they're causing me digestive pains. And until that light bulb came on through these practices, through these ideas, and then through ultimately the actual experience, nothing changed. So unless you take this practice and start using it, we want simple things. Sometimes people try to complicate a list of acupoints from here to here, then here, then here, and then see this guy 10 times and pray down for 5 times and make sure you're using this beat. So keep it simple and develop skill with a simple process. In this case, the simple meditation, acupoints, breathe, and keep building on it. That's what's going to cause the release and the quality of equanimity. You must be able to observe the release without holding on to it. So the equivalent of this is like, I'm going to the toilet I release, and now I'm going to pick up the stool, put it in a jar, put it on a shelf, go talk to my therapist about it, examine it for 3 years, write notes about it, put it back on the shelf, come back to it. That's not releasing or letting go. Okay, same thing. I wouldn't do that when I go to the bathroom. Like I might look at it, let's see, okay, there's some corn in there. I guess I can't digest corn, probably don't have corn. My stomach hurt too much, so that food I ate last time, let's not have it. And then we let it go. That's how we want to treat our emotions, our clogged traumas, stored energies, is we use these acupoints and then the mental quality of just observing and letting go without attaching. That's the hard part of this practice, really, is that mental quality. Now, I like this analogy of a weight vest. Okay. If you woke up tomorrow and I put an extra 50-pound weight vest on you, would that make your daily activities, your job, your family, cooking, cleaning, doing your taxes, easier or harder? Probably significantly harder. So before we even address all these detailed diagnoses of Chinese medicine and which acupoints, I want to give you the tool to remove this weight vest from the beginning. So whatever your channel issues, your emotional issues, this is going to help across the board. When you wake up in the morning, you're either removing weight or adding weight. And when you're sleeping, when you're laying down, your body's very stagnant. There's no movement. It's very little movement. We need to encourage movement right away, first thing in the morning. What most people do is lay there, hit the snooze button, scroll news, see fearful media stuff, and they're very absorbed outside their body, adding more mental, emotional, and spiritual weight and physical. So what you want to do is have a routine in the morning where you wake up, you go outside, you drink some water, you do a little breathing, you walk, you meditate, do a little qigong. This is actively removing the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual weights so that the rest of your day becomes much easier. It's the equivalent of going to chop down trees. If I don't spend the first 20 minutes sharpening the axe, my axe just gets dull, 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 and I can't really do the tasks that are in front of me. So the first 10, 20 minutes of waking up are the most important part, that whatever habit, lifestyle, acupoint, qigong, weight loss change you're trying to achieve, the first 10 minutes of effort in the morning is the most important. So I want to give you a little gift here with this. This is called the RAD protocol. It's my morning routine. You can either go to radoslav.ca/stagnation, or if you take your phone out, you can scan this QR code with your camera app, and it'll let you download that right away. This is for you for staying to the end. I hope you enjoy this, you use this. If you want to learn from me in person, I'm hosting 2 retreats. One will be in Austria this June 28th to July 4th. We're going to be in this lovely mountain hotel called Das Alois. Really good food, really good service, really nice location. And I'm basically going to take you through a bunch of qigong, acupoints, meditation practices, stuff to go inwards, stuff that just can't really be done online or over the camera. If you're interested in that, you can go to radoslav.ca/Austria or take a scan with your camera app on this one. I also have one in Mexico. This is a co-hosted with Bioculture Retreat. We've got Christian Dakota here. If you want to go to that, that is radoslav.ca/Mexico, or scan this. It's happening in about 1 month. I'm actually going to be in Mexico for the entire month of May with these guys. We're going to be doing a yoga retreat. My friend Key, Holistic University, some of you know him. He's going to be doing a retreat. Troy Casey's going to be doing a retreat. It's just going to be retreat months. But obviously, some people can't travel. Some people can. Go to Mexico, Europe. You're welcome to come. Otherwise, I just want to provide as much value as I can with this. Tomorrow, join me for a qigong practice. I'm going to give you another little gift similar to the RAD protocol, but it's going to be more qigong focused. March 27th, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings. Get the RAD protocol. A lot of you, it's nighttime. Here I'm in Bali, it's like 10 a.m. Do it. Go download it right now. Let me just pull this link up for you again. radoslav.ca/stagnation. Scan it. It's super simple, easy. Write it down. I've made video notes. I've made a PDF. You can just access it right away. Do it tomorrow morning and tell me the experience of your day afterwards. Right? I guarantee that if you do this, or you're already doing a morning routine, you incorporate some of what I show you, your day will be much better. Your emotions will be more stable. Your ability to handle physical, emotional, mental traumas, your capacity will increase. Okay, so focus on this. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. It'll be about the exact same time. You can use the same links. And if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I am Radoslav. Some of you are going to be watching this on YouTube. Feel free to send me any messages if you're interested in retreats or training with me. Be happy to have you there. I'm just going to quickly look over some of the chats. Tina says, I love Key. He's my boy. Yeah, we actually went to the same Chinese medicine school in Toronto. So it's really crazy. We're going to be meeting up. We're going to be in May together, just both running our retreats and doing our thing. Alejandro, thank you very much. You're very welcome. Tina, heart back at you. Thanks, Rad. This was terrific. And I look forward to moving energy with you tomorrow. Yeah, for tomorrow, we're going to be doing more moving practice. This was a lot of screen, connecting with the emotions. Tomorrow, we'll do physical practice to get you into that. You're very welcome, Heather, Tina, Aisha. Thanks for the wonderful session. You're welcome. Shauna, thank you. Thank you everyone for engaging. I really appreciate the comments and the feedback that comes through this. So cool. Hey, Tina, hey, I guess you guys know each other, ladies. Thanks a lot. Do we need to sign up for tomorrow? I'll send emails again, but it'll be the same links for tomorrow. So wherever you're watching this, whatever link you clicked should work, but I'm also going to send out an email reminder as well. Same time, same place, same space. Wish you all a happy evening, good sleep. Watch the RAD protocol. I'll put this back on screen. If you're interested in Mexico, come out to Mexico. Austria, it's going to be a blast. Food is going to be insane. My friend Theo, Mindset of Theo, is going to be there with us. And then if you haven't gotten the RAD protocol, grab that for free and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll send a recording out by email in case you missed some of this as well. It's morning in India. Yeah, I had a lot of emails. The European time zone is completely missed on this one. They're totally out of luck. I had a lot of people reaching out, so they'll get the recordings, and maybe when I'm in another time zone, it's more advantageous for me. We'll do this again. So thank you everyone for joining.